Awesome.
No worries, man.
Yeah, Homer led the
I
league in
appreciate you
tackles with
having me.
85. The deep ball for Darius Prince, and Philadelphia's on the board first.
On the draw, this is Grayson Allen. And Allen weaving his way all the way down to the 22. 10-yard line, 5. Mayfield, Dancy, all around. Throw as far as he can throw it. Jump ball coming. Crazy stuff. Not this time.
And you want to be a wide receiver, you're going to have to take a little bit of a hit like that as Brown got him in that shoulder, but watch. Those are teeth.
Do we have a dentist on staff here?
All right, we are back with another episode of Around the Indoor Football World, and today we've got a couple special guests for y'all to tune in and learn more about. We did have another guest lined up that did not make it this morning, so we apologize for the late start. But we're going to kick it off with some National Arena League coverage for everybody with a player who just signed his first professional contract with the Shreveport Rougarou. And we will learn a little bit more about his career. So please help me welcome on Dirion Hutchins. How you doing this morning, sir?
Good, boss. Good, boss. How you doing?
Doing well. Thank you so much for joining me early. I know you're also in Colorado, so
me on the show. I really appreciate it. So,
of course. I mean, super excited to learn more about your career. I know we've been talking for quite a while, and I was very excited to see your name come across the transaction list and get the message from you that you had signed. So let's go ahead and just jump right into this and learn a little bit more about Mr. Hutchinson here. Or Hutchins, sorry about that. I can't believe I just did that. So looking back in your career, correct me if I'm wrong, but you actually attended
no worries, boss. You're all good.
You actually attended Francis Howell High School, and where you played football, wrestled, and ran track. Were you always Go ahead. I think we got a little bit of a lag, a delay here.
You said was always going to be a what? Yeah.
Were you always going to play football?
A little bit of delay going on.
Were you always going to play football?
Yeah,
or
man.
Was there a question?
Honestly, I've been playing football since. Yeah, so I've honestly been playing football since about ages 6. Started in inner city St. Louis. Played for Matthew Dickey a little bit. Played for U City. Fun teams like that as Little League and stuff like that. So I've always played football. Always had a passion for the game. Always had loved the game. My dad played football as well, and I think that was one of my biggest motivators, for sure. But yeah, I always knew I wanted to play football, man. It's a fun sport, man, and I'm building up a lot of connections from it. So,
absolutely. If you don't mind me asking, what about football is so? How do I want to put this? What draws you to a football field?
Always as a young kid, you see those guys in NFL, college football, always wanted to be like them and stuff like that. I mean, growing up, and then as you grow up, get in high school, you really build that connection, that brotherhood is what it's really all about, man. And that was super important to me always, man. That was awesome. I built so many connections. I still talk to my high school buddies. High school football buddies now today. Actually, I just had a wedding. My best man, he was my freaking linebacker, man. The dude is awesome. Shout out to Eric Heismeyer. That's my guy. But yeah, freaking contact, physical. I mean, it's everything, and it's everything in one game, man. It is. It's awesome. So definitely
love football for that reason. I think it it requires a special kind of athlete to be able to play, especially at the professional level. So I'm curious, you said you just got married?
Yeah. So September 24th, just got married, man. So to my beautiful wife, Michaela. It's a fun time. We got married in Utah, actually, because that's where she's from. So it's an awesome venue. Super cool time, man. It was great.
That's awesome. So you get, excuse me, how long have you guys been together?
Come again? Happy what?
How long have you guys been together? Did you catch that?
What'd you ask?
How long have you been with your wife?
Together? A little over 3 years, going on 4 now.
Very nice.
So it's been a little while, I would like to say, but yeah.
Very nice. And then you said you also have a child with her?
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Gotta love that. Getting back to your football career, you end up starting your football career at Bowling Green. You redshirt your first season. Talk to me a little bit about your experience at Bowling Green.
Yeah, dude. So my experience Bowling Green, first school I went to it was a great experience and everything. I mean, playing first team I played against ever was Michigan State. That was freaking awesome. I never played in front of so many people before in my life, man. That was the best time ever. It was awesome, man. Like, can't really say too much about it. I mean, did a little bit of red shirt there, and then I played my sophomore year. Had fun, had a couple sacks, had a couple TFLs, Try to ball out with the guys. I was still light. I was still light, dude. I think I was weighing I want to say probably 230 at the most, man, playing defensive line / like a hybrid linebacker. But yeah, man, it was a whole bunch of fun, man. So I loved it.
That's awesome. Honestly, you definitely were a little bit undersized at the time, but what ended up leading you away from Bowling Green and over to Fort Scott Community College?
Yeah, to be brutally honest, man, I made bad decisions. Made bad decisions that almost could have affected my life, affected my career and everything. It did affect my life. I mean, you turn your bad decisions into the better outcomes, and you get through it and you learn life. That is so what it's all about. I mean, it's what living life is. You learn it. So.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, your stop at Fort Scott didn't take a whole lot of time. I think it was one season there before you ended up at Colorado Mesa University. So obviously, whatever bad choices you made, they weren't too terrible because you ended up right back where you just belonged at the highest level. What was your experience like at Colorado Mesa, and in Colorado in general? All right, give me just a moment. It looks like we're having some technical difficulties with Hutchins. We'll bring him right back. In the meantime, why don't we go ahead and give you guys a word from our sponsors.
Winter is coming.
And he can make something magical happen here. And there goes the ball. It's going. It's going. You're a fan.
Battles will be won.
Hold on now.
At the 30, and he gets...
Who's going to take victory?
He's and that's why championship points matter.
It's time for war.
All right, we got you back there, sir.
Had to change the scenery for you. Hopefully it's got closer to my router, so hopefully this helps out a little bit better.
It seems like you're coming in a little bit more clearly, so I definitely appreciate that. So talk to me a little bit about your decision to ultimately attend Colorado Mesa University.
Honestly, the decision was I honestly had to sit down at Fort Scott. Had a pretty decent year there and everything, and I knew I had to hunker down and really figure out what I wanted. Talked to the coach at Colorado Mesa at the time, which was Russ Martin. Dude's awesome. Dude's amazing. He's a legend. So he actually got me out here. He convinced me to come out to Colorado Mesa and everything, and he said I'll be a huge part of the team. So that's what I wanted to be.
Absolutely. And then you get to Colorado and you have a little bit of adversity you have to come over there, or overcome there, given the fact that you come during COVID season. What was your experience like during that 2020 year where more or less most college programs had to shut down?
It was actually kind of wild because before the COVID season, the guy who brought me in, Russ Martin, he left. He went to West Texas. I don't think it was on his own or anything. So I mean, I'm not sure exactly what happened. Business is business. But yeah. Then here comes in Coach Jackson, Tremaine Jackson, who's now at Valdosta State. Dude is awesome as well, man. Let's see, COVID happened, and then the crazy part is we were still working. Like we were still working. I knew that's how I knew he was gonna be something special because we were still working. Like it was crazy. But we had a chance to play 5 games. Only got to 2, I believe, and then the whole season shut down. So I mean, guys were just on break, resting and stuff like that. Um, it wasn't too long after, man. We were back in the weight room, back running over plays in the gym as much as we could. So yeah.
Definitely. And we talked little bit about it. While you were at Bowling Green, I think you said you weighed 230. Talk to me about how you went about kind of building yourself into a true college level defensive end.
Right, man. Like I said, JUCO, Fort Scott, really had to hunker down, really had to figure out what I wanted in life, man. Like I said, made bad decisions, had to just constantly in the weight room, constantly working on my protein diet and everything, stuff like that. And just trying to get to the weight that everyone else wanted me at, which is kind of crazy trying to get to what everyone.
I can imagine that's kind of an interesting dynamic. And looks like we lost Hutchins again. Oh, maybe not. Sorry about that. I can imagine that that's an interesting dynamic when you're told you need to gain some weight and it's, somebody else's prerogative, how much weight you're supposed to gain and all of that.
Right.
How does that conversation even go? Does the coach just come up to you and say, "Hey, man, we need you at 275"?
It's not even like that. It's kind of like a joke. It's like, have you ate today? You eating? You look a little light. Look a little light, buddy. All right, don't let me push you over. Don't let me blow you down or something like that. It's not more of a direct like you need to eat, you need to gain weight, you need to do this. It was always kind of like a joking matter because here's the thing: no matter what my size was, I could still ball. That point blank, So it'll just be a joke now here and there, stuff like that, and yeah.
That makes perfect sense. Obviously, that's got to be kind of a strange topic to broach as a coach. But yeah, definitely can imagine that you were probably getting off blocks and holding up a little bit better at 275 than 230 against some of these offensive linemen. Especially the guys that are 3-something. You're kind of fighting against guys that are almost twice your size at that point. So
I can actually bull rush now.
So I'm curious, when you look at pass rushers, who are some guys that you study and try to use like elements from their game in your game?
Easily, always growing up watching freaking Lawrence Taylor. Dude's a dog. Dude will forever be a dog. I want his mentality. Always try to play with his mentality 110% of the way, man. I want to smash my freaking head through a freaking wall. So Lawrence Taylor is my guy, man. Let's see, who else we got, man? It was big. I was just a huge LT guy, man. I love the old guys, man. Yeah, just huge LT guy. Huge LT guy.
That makes sense. One of the best pass rushers to ever play in the league. So definitely not a bad guy to idolize in terms of his on-field play. We won't talk about anything off the field with you.
Exactly, man.
That's been covered at length.
I literally
years.
watch his highlights before every game. That's how much of a fan I am. I literally watch his highlights. I want to be like that guy on the field.
That makes sense. I mean, anytime Bill Belichick is calling you the best player ever, you're probably doing all right. He's not
Exactly.
big on steeping praise, but I think he said Lawrence Taylor was the best player he ever coached. So that's very high praise coming from one of the best coaches in the world. But let me ask you this: were you always a linebacker, defensive lineman, or was it something where you kind of settled in that position as you grew? Where did you start off?
Well, I originally started off at I played linebacker, like starting off like Little League. I played linebacker, I played center, obviously you play both sides and everything. I got too big to where it's kind of funny. I was too big as a little kid, but when I grow up, I'm too small. So I got too big when I was younger. Actually, I think when I was 8, I had to play a year up. As a matter of fact, the year up team I had to play for, they already had a linebacker, so I had to adjust to defensive end. Truthfully, I hated it. I almost quit. Actually, not gonna lie, I hated playing defensive end. One day my dad, I'm not sure if he even, I don't even know how true the story is. One day my dad walks in, because I wasn't playing at the time. I'd say about a couple of days went by, haven't gone to practice. Dad walks in, he's like, yeah, some guy quit the team and they're wondering if you want to come back. And I just say, yeah, sure. Um, and so what happened was I adjusted. At that point in time, I learned how to adjust to life, and just to everything, and just to everything that's around me. Then later on, I played defensive end for most of my life and everything. And uh, when I got to college, they were like, "Yeah, you're kind of small to play defensive end, but we'll put you at a hybrid though, because we run a hybrid defense. So we'll put you at a hybrid linebacker defensive end. That way, you're standing up." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, cool." I mean, um, played a little bit of linebacker, kind of like middle school and everything. I played linebacker fully then instead of defensive end because I played for a different team. But other than that, that's probably like the only linebacker experience I ever had. And then I jump into the fire in college, and they're like, "Yeah, you're gonna play linebacker. You're gonna learn how to stand back there. You're gonna learn how to stand on the line. You're not gonna put your hands down too much, though."
What was what was that transition like for you? Transitioning back to kind of a linebacker position mid college.
I thought it was awesome. I thought it was cool. That's freaking. I have a chance to go catch a pick, catch a pick, and take it to the grid. So I thought it was cool. I mean, it's I I thought it was a flex, dude. It's kind of saying I'm versatile. I can play defensive end. I can play linebacker, dude. Like it's versatile. So I kind of saw it as like a compliment.
Yeah, and also honestly, I think it's not a bad look for your career overall. I mean, obviously, you now bring the experience of playing linebacker and defensive line. I mean, realistically, you could play as a stand-up 3-4 outside linebacker, or you could play with your hand in the dirt as a 4-3 defensive end. So I think that's going to help your career long term. When outdoor teams start really taking notice of the kind of player that you are actually. I feel like you're getting slept on a little bit, and that's why you're in arena football, but. It happens to a lot of people, unfortunately, but we haven't really.
Spade. That's all it is.
Exactly, and unfortunately, that a lot of players come out every year, so I think that happens to some of the Colorado guys in particular way too often, in my personal opinion. Especially down in their Colorado Mesa, CSU Pueblo, Western. I think all three of those schools do a really good job of identifying and developing talent. I think over the next couple of years, we're going to watch as teams take a bigger notice to those three schools in particular. And then eventually, we're going to see a pipeline grow from those schools. But it takes men like you kind of, bringing attention to those programs in order for them to get to that point. So, heading into the 2025 season, I think you spent the 2024 season, kind of trying to figure out what you were going to do next. And you end up signing with the Shreveport Rougarou. With Coach Pat Pimmel, a longtime friend of the network. So I'm curious how that all came about for you.
Honestly, shout out to the National Scouting Combine hosted by Jimmy Kimball. Dude is awesome, amazing. He taught us more than just football there, man. It's literally that connection, like I was talking about there, building different connections and stuff like that. And so went there, did the combine and everything. Actually met Coach Hampton, the defense coordinator for the Rougarous, actually. Um, it's kind of funny. I think he liked the way I run because that's the first time he talked to me. I ran my 40, and he was like, "What position you play?" And I told him everything. He started chopping it up and stuff like that. After the whole combine and everything in the game, stuff like that, I got his number. And so it's kind of crazy how it all came about. He texted me. He's like, "Hey, you still looking for a team and stuff like that?" And I was like, "Yeah, man." And he presented opportunity to me, and I took it.
Absolutely, Jermaine Hampton, one of the most respected coaches, especially on the defensive side of the ball in order football. So, not a bad guy to have on your side. So I gotta ask. You piqued his curiosity by running the 40. What'd you run in the 40?
I ran a 4.9. I guess you like the way I ran.
Huh.
Hey, I ran a
Interesting.
4.9, but hey, I don't know. I'm a big guy. I, I don't know if the times are right though. I like to say I ran like a 4.7, but ran a 4.9. Guess you like the way I moved. I mean, I'm a pretty big guy. I'm 6'3", 275. So I guess he wasn't expecting that from me or something. So I don't know.
That's completely fair. So, what was your experience like at the National Scouting Combine? I hear that. Well, I've seen and I've heard that it's a great experience and ultimately can shape a lot of careers. Kind of get them off the ground early there.
Yeah, no, shout out to National Scouting Combine. I'll say like if you don't have a pro day at your school, you need to go there. Build up the connections. There are a ton of different coaches there. Cameras everywhere you go, so you're gonna get your film, dude. Major part that I liked was that it was more than just a combine; it was a game as well. A game to really show what you're really capable of. I feel like a lot of people can do well at the combine, show these awesome numbers, bench press the world, and still not be up to par on the field, man. So I mean, that was just another aspect I loved of it, man. Just being able to play that game, showing the coaches what I really had other than just like my size and stats. So
Absolutely, completely understand that, and I think it's a great idea by the National Scouting Combine to have that game there as well. Like you said, you can show up great in a combine setting, and then you can completely flop when you're on the field. So, definitely really enjoyed watching that myself. I think a lot of guys kind of flashed when they got to that game, and definitely a lot of guys have been signed out of the National Scouting Combine over the past couple seasons, and I'm sure it's going to happen again this season. They've got another event coming up in February. So if you're a rookie or a draft eligible player for 2025, definitely recommend checking that out. Jimmy Kibble's a great guy, and everything they do there at NSC is tremendously helpful to these athletes. So always want to, kind of give them the pat on the back they deserve, because honestly, a lot of these guys would not make it to the pro level if it weren't for that combine event. But moving on, have you ever been to Louisiana, or will this be your first experience down there?
I've been to Shreveport once. I was kind of younger and everything. I have family in El Dorado, Arkansas. And so I went to, there's not much there, I'll tell you that much. I went there once for a family reunion. I haven't been back. But part of that family reunion, we drove down to Shreveport. So been there once, can't really remember it. So thankfully, I guess it'll be kind of like a first time.
Absolutely. So that will definitely be interesting to see. Out of curiosity, like, what's your ultimate goal? I mean, obviously, I would imagine the NAL and arena football in general is probably a stepping stone to your ultimate goals. So, what do they look like? What does your career plan look like?
Yeah, first of all, I just want to give thanks for the coaches giving me opportunity in the Arena League, man. Like you said, it is a stepping stone. It's not where I want to finish off and everything. My ultimate goal is to get to the highest level possible, whether that's the highest level possible, and that's obviously the NFL. And then there's CFL and all the other leagues, stuff like that. You know, just trying to really make a name for myself, man. I feel like I just want to show the world my potential and stuff like that, of what I'm capable of, and just being an asset to someone. So, yeah, main major goal is obviously to go somewhere bigger. So, but I still want to give thanks to all the coaching staffs who are giving me this opportunity to play at this level. I mean, dude, there's guys who don't even get to play at all. Like, they played their last snap at whatever high school, college, and now boom, they're done. You know, so I'm truly blessed to be in the position I'm in right now. So.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you pointed that out because there are a lot of players that just simply cannot get the opportunity that you did. And yes, this is a stepping stone, and no, the National Arena League is probably not, where you want to spend your entire career. No disrespect to the league, to be clear. Most and every player I recommend, kind of chasing that highest level as much as you possibly can. So, just to throw that out there, that the NAL is like a great platform for players, and I'm very excited that you get to kind of display your talents heading into 2025. Because again, I mean, you spent the 2024 season, kind of waiting to see what would happen. So let me ask you this: how did you spend 2024? After graduating?
Obviously working out, going to that National Scouting Combine. I actually did get an offer for a arena team 2024 season, matter of fact, from the Wheeling Miners. The coach there, he was actually at the National Scouting Combine and everything, and he was just pulling names and stuff, saw my name, gave me a call, and it was kind of like a rush on it. And I wasn't sure how I felt about the Arena League at that time, because obviously I want to go to UCFL, NFL, USFL, any big leagues, stuff like that. So I kind of, I was thinking about it, but then I was like, I'm just going to sit down, I'm going to wait. Someone's going to call my name. Never got the call. So, and that's just the reality of it, call a spade, like I always love to say. And yeah.
Yeah, Coach Perez, I believe, actually ended up signing a couple players out of the NSC, and they kind of had a little bit of a partnership there with the combine, which I think was great for both parties. And ironically enough, last season the Miners were in the American Arena League, but this season they're in the National Arena League. So you actually get to see them this season. So that'll be
exactly.
as well.
I think they're like our third or fourth game, something like that. So.
Very nice.
Yeah, should be a fun game, man.
No doubt. Coach Rez is a character too, so I have a feeling you'll probably hear some words from him at some point, in a good way. Just like, hey, when you're ready to come play, next year, give me a call or something of that sort. I like him a lot as a coach. He definitely hangs it all out there on the field, and seems to always be in competition. But same thing with Pat Pimmel and Jermaine Hampton. You ended up with a great staff, and honestly some of the best coaches that I could have recommended to you if you had asked at the time. Pimmel is one of my favorite coaches, regardless of where he ends up every year. And if you're looking for a coach that actually genuinely cares about his players, Pimmel is probably pretty high up on that list, which I think is important, especially at this level. You never know what happens. So definitely always nice to have your coach in your corner. And if I'm not mistaken, Pimmel told me that you guys are from the same city originally.
Yeah, man. He actually coached the rival team. I was saying, played Little League for U City. He coached the rival team, Herbert Hoover, the losers. The winning team is U City. I just want to point that out there. Hey, if you play for Herbert Hoover, boo you. Go U City.
That's awesome. I love that.
Big U.
Little bit of a rivalry somewhat, but that's awesome. Those small connections often are the biggest difference makers in careers. So it was kind of cool to hear that story from Pimmel when I talked to him after you had reached out and told me that you signed with him. It's a small world, So I mean,
it's a small world, dude. It's small. It's kind of crazy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, I
Man,
mean, those.
Coach sounds like a great guy too, man. First time I ever talked to him, he literally said, "If you need anything, give me a call. Do not hesitate." And I really felt like he meant that. Like, I feel like right now I can call him, tell him I need something, and he'll try to figure out, see what he can do.
I strongly agree, and I've seen it. I've witnessed Pimmel doing things for players that a lot of coaches would never dream of. In fact, just last season, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, he was with the Arena Football League, and he was with one of the teams that was league owned, and things went sour fairly quickly, unfortunately. And he came out of pocket to feed and house a lot of his guys for a while there. And that to me, I mean, I knew he was that kind of guy going into that situation, but not a lot of coaches would do that. So when he was willing to not only stick around and try and make things work there, but ultimately doing everything he could to make sure his players were taken care of, I gained a lot of respect for him. That I didn't have previously, but I had always respected him to begin with. So we got one of the goats of the indoor football world, Ricky Burt's tuning in, current Omaha Beef coach or owner, and Pimmel was once his coach, so he definitely knows firsthand how good of a person Pimmel can be. So definitely love the fact that you're tuning in. Thanks, Ricky. We appreciate you tuning in. So ultimately, what are you looking forward to about the National Arena League in 2025?
To be honest, man, playing again. I just want to play again, bro. Honestly, I talked to my wife about it and everything and stuff like that. I told her the news, and like the biggest thing I kept saying to her is like, dude, I can't believe I'm about to actually play again. I'm about to actually play football again. You know, it's I don't want to say it's been my life, but like, football has been a big part of my life, man, and I'm really excited to really play again. Build connections like I always say, and showing everybody what I got, man. Shit. I know there's 11 players on the field, but sometimes I feel like that spotlight shining right on you sometimes, especially if you make that big play.
Absolutely. I mean, you said you've been playing since you were 6, right? So you're what, 25, 26? So it's
Yeah,
been about
25.
20 years.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. I mean, that's basically life. I mean, so yeah, you've definitely been playing for life. I mean, obviously, the National Arena League's a great, like we said, stepping stone and a great place for you to begin playing. Have you gone back and watched any of the games from last season to kind of get the feeling of what you're in for?
As a matter of fact, I watched that championship game between the Miners and I forgot who the other team was, but I just kind of wanted to see what it was all about, see what it looked like, and honestly, I'm just put it this way, I can't wait to play, man. I can't wait to show everybody what I got, man. It's gonna be a fun time. I'll tell you that much. Party in the backfield all day, every day.
I love it. I love it. Definitely going to be interesting to see how everything goes for you this season. The National Arena League and most indoor football at that will kind of separate the men from the boys when it comes to pass rushers. You get, I don't want to say handicapped, but they definitely limit what you're able to do when you're rushing the passer. So I think this is it's a good place to showcase the kind of athlete you are. So I definitely am excited to see exactly how you do this season and how it all works out for you. And ultimately, I have a feeling that you will not be the only player that makes it to the next level from the NAL this season. We've watched over the past couple of years, guys like DJ Myers, Guy Myers, Joe Powell, Malik Henry, all these different guys who are getting looks at the highest level, at the UFL, the CFL, NFL level. So it's only a matter of time for you, in my personal opinion. And I think this season might be your only one in arena football. So if you're watching, I definitely recommend that you watch a whole bunch of Shreveport this season because they've got a pretty promising roster. And on that note, have you gotten a chance to kind of begin to build relationships with any of your future teammates?
Yeah, actually, I got one of them on Instagram right now. As a matter of fact, I feel like I should reach out to him more. But the team kind of met each other on. Right now, we got a little app going on and stuff like that, and send messages back and forth. But other than that, yeah, that's about it.
Definitely. Has Pimmel already started meetings?
Like in person?
Zoom or otherwise?
No, not yet, not yet. He's been messaging a lot of the guys though, just making sure everyone's ready to go. I know offense is scheming, man. I'll tell you that much. I don't know what's going on because I'm not on offense, but let's just say they got that playbook already, and they've been scheming. So
Gotcha. So he hasn't. We haven't heard any whispers of you playing fullback or anything on offense.
well, he's not yet. He's
We'll
not
see if
yet.
it comes.
Let me. Yeah, I hope we do.
No doubt, no doubt. It'd be interesting to see. I mean, that is one of the challenges that coaches face in these leagues, is they've got smaller rosters. So a lot of times, players do end up having to play other positions. Sometimes you never know. You never know. It might come up, but it would be interesting to see you play some fullback in one of these leagues for sure.
Heck yeah, no, I'm excited for it, and can't wait to see what it's all about, boss. And yeah, like I said, I'm just extremely excited to play again, dude. I don't think if people really understand that, like, I'm super excited to play again. Like, it's crazy. Like, I need February to hurry up and come get here so I can get on the Shreveport.
I love it. I love it. And honestly, that's why these leagues exist. You know, we talk about it all the time, and only, you know, I think it's like 0.1% of like high school athletes will ever even get the opportunity to play in the NFL. So I mean, you know, when you extrapolate that out over across all these other leagues, there's really only like maybe 3% of all players that get a chance to play professional football. So I mean, you are definitely in the minority. And you know, if you look at this the right way and you treat it like it's your NFL, I have a feeling it's going to be, you know, the beginning of a very long professional football career. And you know, it's only a matter of time before you're getting the looks that you really want. Speaking of that, have you been contacted by any teams at the higher level at all, or has been kind of quiet on that front?
Talked to a few CFL teams, kind of just throwing it away, but CFL teams, I'm not sure about too many NFL teams. Did have an agent at the time, Don Ames, if you ever heard of him. He was getting me connected with a few CFL teams, stuff like that, sending my film over and everything, just trying to get my name out there. So,
Are you no longer with them?
yeah, I am.
Oh, okay. It sounded like that was a past tense thing, but
Oh, no. Sorry if I made it seem like it was past tense. No, sorry. Yeah,
you're
I'm
good.
still with Don. So, the Don. That's what I like to
Love
call
it.
him, the Don Dada.
I love it. I love it. So one more question, then we'll kind of let you give a final word here, and then we'll get you out of here. But when you look back and you kind of look at your career as a whole, when did you know that professional football was in your future?
When did I know that professional football was in my future? That I have no clue. I always wanted to play professional football. Like I said, growing up, being young, I always wanted to play professional football. I didn't care about college. Like, I mean, like when I got a little bit older, I looked at the college players, but I was always worried about playing at that level, like NFL and all that. Um, Honestly, I just always felt like I was just destined to be great. So I would say I've always had that feeling. Then I guess.
Hey, that's completely fair as well. So before we get out of here, is there anybody or anything you want to shout out or say a few words to?
Yeah, I just want to say shout out to my my wife Michaela. Shout out to my little boy Zeke. Shout out to my boy Eric Heismeyer. He already got that shout out and everything. And if any coaches are looking from the AFL and everything, I just wanted to let you guys know, man. I really appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity. Thank you to you, Sam. I appreciate you having me on here, man. It really means a lot. You're doing a lot for us small time players, man, dude. So it really does help out a lot, man. Thank you to my parents, and more importantly, thank you to God, man, above. I mean, wouldn't be here without him. So.
Absolutely. You know, I don't think we were able to do quite enough for players like yourself. I think that, you know, like I said, you know, given the fact that so many players come out every year, a lot of players just kind of slip through those cracks. You know, I mean, the NFL can't sign them all, unfortunately. You know, I wish they could. And I'm pretty sure everybody would like to make 6 figures plus to play football for a living. But unfortunately, that's just not the reality that we have yet. Hopefully we get to the point where the CFL, UFL, all these leagues are paying that kind of money, and you really can truly focus on football that way. Real quick before we get out of here, how does your wife feel about you going to Shreveport for about 4 months? Are they coming with you?
No, so she's gonna be here still working everything, taking care of the little one. She's happy for me. I mean, she knows that football is my love, and and it's what I've grown up doing. So she's extremely happy for me. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. Honestly, I think more importantly than anything, a supportive spouse is very important when you're trying to pursue football. I mean, that's one of the toughest things, is walking away from your family for 4 months and just being like, I'll be back. So you got to have a really, really supportive spouse, and somebody who understands that, this is something you've done your entire life, and something you're going to probably do for a lot longer, hopefully. And hopefully, in your next stop, you can kind of bring them with you and make that work, so you're together as a family throughout the season.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Said it perfectly.
Absolutely. I just wanted to say I really appreciate your time, and I'm hoping this is far from the last time we get you on here. Obviously, I'm very excited to hear that you're with Shreveport and in the NAL this season, and I'll definitely be following along with everything you do this year. Hopefully we see a very successful season, and like I said, hopefully you kind of pique the curiosity of the coaches and scouts at the next level, and we can see you playing in the UFL, CFL, NFL by 2026.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you having me, man. It really means a lot. So thank you again.
Of course, anytime. Definitely stay in touch, and we'll keep this relationship growing, and then get you back on here in the future.
Heck yeah, looking forward to it. Thank you again.
Definitely. Absolutely appreciate it, and I'll catch you in the next one.
All right, have a good one.
You too. All right, guys, so it looks like our last guest has not made it this morning. It seems to be a recurring theme on this show, given it's so early, but that's okay. We'll go ahead and get him on in the future. We were going to have Daquan Bailey-Brown here at the beginning, and then we were also going to have Aaron Jackson from the Fisher's Freight, who was their first player signed, actually, an Indianapolis native. So he's going to go ahead and get the opportunity to play at home for the first time in his professional career. So we will go ahead and try and reschedule interviews with both of those guys. I apologize if you tuned in for one of them specifically and we're not able to see them on here. Again, this is at 8 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Mountain Time. So a lot of guys, are honestly pretty hesitant to come on in the morning. So we'll get them on in the future. No big thing. But really appreciate everybody who tuned in. If you haven't done so already, hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and we will catch you guys in the next episode, probably in a couple weeks.
I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer.